Yeah, we back. Yeah, we back. Now, today's going to be a quick video. Going to be talking about the president of Nicaragua, President Daniel Ortega. He made some interesting statements in a speech that he gave. I think he was celebrating his nation's some anniversary, some Independence Day anniversary, something. But he made mention of the fact that many nations in Latin America would not be liberated today if it wasn't for our ancestors. Now, of course, this doesn't really get acknowledged by Latin American heads of state besides, Nicolas Maduro here and there. But the rest of these guys like to act like they did it by themselves. But to me, I simply attribute that to the overarching anti-blackness within Latin American culture. So we already understand they're not going to glorify that aspect of history. Now, when it comes to Daniel Ortega, I'm not very familiar with his policies or his political orientation. That's not what the video is about. But due to the fact that the month of August is coming up, and we know the month of August has a lot of ancestral and historical significance, so I think it's right on time. So anyways, I'm gonna jump into the clip. I'll be right back.
Now, Daniel Ortega is the leader of the Sandinista revolution. He was also the leader of the Sandinista Front back in 1979, when they finally took power and overthrew the US-backed puppet dictatorship. And in the speech, he recalled how back in the 1970s, the Sandinistas were inspired to wage their own revolution based on the example of several other revolutions around the world. He mentioned the example of Haiti. Haiti had the first ever victorious revolution in the Latin American and Caribbean region, and this was against French colonialism and also against slavery. And President Ortega recalled how after Haiti had this glorious revolution, Haiti also supported the revolutionary anti-colonial general Simon Bolivar in South America as he fought another anti-colonial war against the Spanish Empire.
How people talk about Haiti these days and how this historically significant nation, Haiti, is often mistreated and misunderstood nowadays. This was back when not a single country in all of Latin America or the entire Caribbean region had gained its independence yet. None of them had successfully managed to gain their full independence from the powerful Spanish or the formidable French colonial powers. Haiti was the first to defeat the French and expel them from Haiti. And the leaders of the struggle in Haiti, showing great solidarity, gave support to Bolivar because Bolivar didn't have many resources. And he arrived in Haiti and they welcomed him warmly and gave him weapons and ships. And then Bolivar kept evolving and growing until he turned that army into the most powerful army in the region, which was fundamental for the independence of Central America, the defeat of the Spanish.
All right, we back. Now, I've already done videos speaking my mind on Simon Bolivar, so I don't got to go into it again. We already know, I'm not the biggest fan of Simon Bolivar, and I already gave my reasons why. Number one, he came to seek assistance when he was down on his luck, right? When he was down on his knees, his back was against the wall. And as soon as he got back on his feet, right? As soon as he regained strength, he then turned around and distanced himself away from Haiti afterwards, right? He wanted to go link up with the United States and things like that. So, I think he's a fake two-faced individual that was simply, advancing his own personal interests and simply taking advantage of, so-called solidarity. But at the end of the day, we did that to liberate our family that was in bondage on those islands, right? That was in bondage in Venezuela, in Ecuador, in Peru, in Panama, in Bolivia, in Colombia, etc., etc. So even though Simon Bolivar might have been two-faced, right, I still think overall it was a good decision because it made the quality of life slightly better for our family that was living in those land masses, in those territories. And at the end of the day, breaking the back of the European colonists is always a good thing, whether it's the French, the Spanish, the British, whoever. Breaking the back of the European colonists, that is always a good thing. And like I mentioned before, if you saw the video I dropped sometime last week, I think it was called How Spain and Portugal Went from Colonial Powers to Washed Up Tourist Economies. And if you remember, I told you a large part of the reason why the Spanish colonial empire lost a lot of its power and prestige was when its colonial territories began rising up against Spanish authority, against colonial rule, right? Because that set off a wave, a domino effect across Latin America, where everybody started taking up arms against the Spanish, right? That's simply human nature, right? If I see somebody else do something and he's successful, naturally, I'm going to try to do the same thing too. I'm going to try to replicate his success. That's human nature. So that's what happened across Latin America, right? Various Spanish colonies began taking up arms against colonial rule. But yeah, man, shout out to President Ortega of Nicaragua. Like I said, the month of August, that's a month of commemoration, veneration, remembrance, and paying homage to those who came before us and the sacrifices they made, and the accomplishments that they achieved, and the legacy they left behind. Not only for Latin America, but for this entire side of the planet, for this entire hemisphere, right? Because not only did that lead to Latin American independence, but even the British, right after that in 1807, they abolished the slave trade. And of course, as we already know, the rebellion in 1791 led to the liberation and the abolition of slavery in all French territories in 1794. And then, of course, as you mentioned before, the liberation of Latin America that was made possible due to the assistance that Simon Bolivar received from the honorable black men down in Haiti. So like I said, man, during that time, black men were literally going around saving the world, fighting against the forces of evil. Literally, black men was literally going around saving the world, saving the planet from the forces of destruction. But of course, we have been written out of the history books, but it's okay. That's why we are here to tell our own stories. It is what it is. But anyway, shout out to the president of Nicaragua. Anyways, man, 21 Cannons, first single off the new album. Pin comment at the top. Check it out. Subscribe to the Patreon, NTD1814. And I'm gone. Peace.
King of the North, and I feel like Moise. Took a few losses, I'm back on my feet. Selling they soul for trinkets and cash. Right on the front like the leader from Chad. Feel like a see me, I feel like I'm Idris. Walking on gold, I handle my business. Honor, integrity, money, and power. Told me she love me, she want me in power. Told her I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Told her come over, come see me in person. Told her come over, I'm sick of the talking. Don't got no time, cause that money be calling. Working all night and I'm up in the morning. Love when I call her, she love my attention. Body and soul, I'm truly protected. Back on that road and big body business. Told her I love her, I told her she mine. Get in that passenger seat, we gon' ride. Back on my mission, that money been stacking. Came from the bottom, I'm steady expanding. Run to the check and I pull up and vanish. Grabbing the neck from the back when I smash. Don't need no question, they know it's official. Cut from the cloth and my life ain't no fiction. Ride for the scene like I'm Army enlist. Gotta stay focused, I'm moving deliberate. Heart of a king and my heart full of pain. Look at my neck and it's flooded with chains. And I got Desaline blood in my veins. Enemy watching, I stay with a flame. Keep it 100, they know how we move. Black on black beam, interior blue. How you gon' leave me? I told you I love you. Pain in my heart, you knew I was trouble. Enemy watching, they wanna invade it. Hoping my brothers don't never betray us. Been on my mind and I hope I can save us. Look at my flaws, I don't see perfection. But I'm authentic, I'm whipping the 7. Like it's a phantom, I'm still manifesting. Gotta get money, I gotta get paid. Stay on my toes when I'm ducking these snakes. Go to my wrist and the queen on my arm. Feeling my energy, loving my charm. Might go put Desaline face on a piece. Ready for war, that's how you get peace. Know I'm protected, I'm ready for action. When I walk in, I need 21 cannons. Secret location, I'm up in the palace. One of a kind and she loving my manners. One of a kind and I'm telling the truth. His and her Bentleys, I gotta get two. Feeling like Future, we never gon' lose. Feeling like Garvey, I'm running the block. Entering off firm and I'm letting off shots. King of the North and I'm up at the top. How you gon' leave me? I told you I love you. Pain in my heart and you knew I was trouble. Enemy watching, they wanna invade it. Hoping my brothers don't never betray us. Been on my mind and I hope I can save us. Look at my flaws, I don't